Who will lead our people and who will follow? The challenges of leadership and the challenges of citizenship are one and the same. It is time to restore Africa and raise her up to where she belongs. I give you Africa's first democratically elected female president. I give you the remarkable Johnson-Sirleaf.
I had no great plans that I sat and marked, from one stage to another. That's the road I would take. It's just that every opportunity I used well and build upon that to be able to identify the next goal or the next opportunity. Well, if I look way back to my childhood, I wasn't in any particular advantageous position. I expected I would be like my mother, become maybe an English teacher. But then as I moved up, into elementary, high school and begin to take some leadership position and begin to become aware of my ability to influence people and, one step led to another. But, my life was also turned upside down. I got married right after high school and had 4 children before I went back to college. So that in itself served as a special motivating force because it was like I had to catch up with all of my colleagues and my peers in high school. And that accelerated momentum, I think, just propelled me to a higher level of expectation and ultimately higher level of achievement.
This church was founded in 1821 in Richmond, Virginia, United States of America, by the first African-American missionary to the continent of Africa, a man called Libera. He was a slave. He bought his freedom in early 1800s, pastored a church, and came to what is today Liberia. Over time, more African-Americans began to migrate to Liberia. And then they also started schools. In fact, the first schools and clinics and hospitals in Liberia were started by this group of people. In 1847, the Declaration of Independence was signed, and it was signed in that edifice. And the first section of both houses of legislature was held in that church edifice. And so that's why Providence's name now is the cornerstone of the nation, meaning that the church gave birth to the country. People who were leaders in the church were also leaders in different aspects of government life. And so the church has been looked at as sort of the mother of the nation ever since. I think one of the things the church have also done is speak truth to power, have been there to challenge public policies so that those policies are just, the issue of justice. The way I like to put it is that the church is the conscience of the nation.
My dad was in the diplomatic corps, and so I spent elementary, junior high school in the States. And I joined Ellen and other classmates when I returned home, and we spent 2 years in high school together. She would play football with the boys, but that wasn't the thing at the time, but she did. The neighborhood football, and she was very good. I used to really admire her as she played volleyball. She played volleyball for the school. Very strong, very determined, and that's her character, and it's brought her all the way through a strong, determined, focused individual.
I think the inclination of things that I did. I mean, I was, never wanted attracted to things like sitting down and, doing hair or doing things. I was out in the field kicking balls, climbing trees, and all of those things that maybe, I guess, helped to mold the strength of character. Not to say that the other things that girls normally do don't mold that strength, but I guess you might say it competing all the time in a male-dominated world, even at a very young stage, whether it was competing on the football field or, throwing stones to get fruit from the trees or whatever it was, may have put me on a little bit of a different trajectory. So
I was in her wedding. My husband came back, who was about 6 years her senior, came back from America, fell in love with her, pursued her, and we were all going off to college together, but she married instead. She was persuaded to get married. She had 4 children, but her determination to go forward. After she had the children, and her husband went back for his master's, and they went together, and that's when she finished university.
She served unknowingly as a role model for me. In high school, she was the first woman I saw stand up and make a political speech. And I said, I want to be like her one day. I want to be able to stand up and speak and make sense. So from there, I started to follow her life. And each time she spoke, she was very forceful, and she was willing to pay a price for what she believed in, very courageous.
As the Liberian rebels have pressed towards their objective of overthrowing the dictatorship of Samuel Doe, the country has posed increasingly difficult problems for Washington.
War is war. I think it's the same in any country. The greed for power. When more individuals want to lead, there's only one person can lead any organization or any nation at any one time. And sometimes, especially in Africa, where we don't like to wait for the democratic process to play out. I mean, we accuse successive governments of doing things, but we need to wait and play out the process.
Publicly executing 13 of his opponents.
History also says to us that we can trace some semblance of what happened in the last 14 to 25 years back to even the movement of free slaves coming to Liberia. The issue on the land here was not racial anymore as it was in the United States. Here it became a class issue. And history tells us that those people who came begin to mistreat some of the indigenous people as bad as they were mistreated, and corruption basically, I think, fester itself over time in our history and gave rise to the war.
I think women have played instrumental roles, if you may, during times of conflict, being the one that carried the burden of the family, feeding the nation. But what has been missing is that women have not been able to achieve the higher echelons of political life. And that's because, to a certain extent, they have to carry on the responsibility of a wife and a mother. It has limited their ability to get the space that's required and to devote the time that was needed to explore this potential. We also lack the critical mass of women to compete, because it starts from down there, where the girl child has not been given equal opportunity to pursue education, particularly at higher levels. So a combination of all of that have constrained women in reaching that role. So we always say, for example, in conflict, when the time of fighting, you find as many women out there, whether they're sex slaves or supporting the warriors, or whether they themselves are fighting. But the morning after, when the war has ended and the peace table is set out, you don't see many women at the peace table, and you don't see them holding high decision-making roles when peace agreements have been arranged. So, but that's changing. Today, women are aspiring to all levels. The glass cage is broken, and I think women are beginning to move on.
She has a proven record in our society in governance. She was the first female finance minister, and I talked to people who grew up with her. So it was easy to find out what kind of person she was. And the fact that she went to jail so many times and she didn't give up her dream. And to me, that's somebody to be with. You know, somebody to learn from. Somebody to learn from. To learn what it is to be a leader.
Because Liberian people are really ready to vote. It's a wonderful feeling. They want to be a part of this historic event. And I think that Liberia is on the way to recovery, to renewal.
She visited every county in Liberia, which was very important. I think it's just a strength that she has developed from her working years. She's always been a workaholic, and she's just got the strength to just carry on. All the time, I had confidence that we were going to go through, because the people of Liberia realized that we needed someone like her to bring back this nation.
Well, I think that was well expressed by many of the voters, that our country, 159 years had been dominated by men, and for the first time, there was a woman competitor who not only had participated in politics and competed and suffered, because, I was jailed at times, but also one that had the competence and the courage and the character to compete effectively. And I think the women of Liberia, particularly the grassroots women, the market women, decided that I represent what they would like to be in the future. And this is one time that they were going to give a woman the opportunity to change the course of our country. And so I represented that to them, and they came out massively and voted.
By their votes, the Liberian people have sent a clear message. They want peace. They want to move on with their lives. We'll create the jobs for our mothers and fathers to be gainfully employed. We'll create the social and economic opportunities that will restore our people's dignity and self-worth.
She was the best person to open the door for women in Liberia, considering her experience, her education, her clout, considering her courageousness, and her vision for Liberia.
Obviously, after the long road I have traveled, in activism and political competition, finally having achieved the highest benefit that one could achieve from this effort exhilarated me, and so I was excited, and all around me we all rejoiced. But I was also humbled by the responsibility which that implied. The responsibility not only to lead the effort to renew a war-torn nation, but also to represent the expectations of women, not only in Liberia, but women all over Africa.
Liberia is unique in many ways. The literacy rate is very low. Social services are very bad. And the people have been traumatized by war. So, to a certain degree, the ordinary Liberian is so stressed, is so traumatized, that really he goes around looking for somebody to solve his problems. And it's so easy for leaders to manipulate them, because it's, they're looking for something, the expectation, they're looking for something. And for me, this is why I see Mrs. Sirleaf's self-control comes in, and discipline and humility. You have to resist that temptation to manipulate them. And you have to inspire them to take charge of their circumstances, to let them know that they are decision makers. Create an atmosphere and environment for them to take charge and proceed with their lives and be decision makers and hold their leaders accountable. And I have the strong conviction that when she says she doesn't want to be an imperial president, she means it. She means it.
This woman is full of energy, and I think that's good because that rubs off on folks who work with her, around her, that she's energetic, you know, she's charismatic. She looks kind of quiet on the outside, but I think it's a bubble of energy on the inside that just keeps on going. And she loves what she does. And I mean, I think, again, it has to rub off on people who work with you and work for you.
What I like about her is her humility. My interaction with her is that she doesn't see herself as immortal. Or you discussing something, she'll say, oh, yes, gentlemen, okay, look, I made a mistake now, where do we go? And you don't see people who got that kind of authority can say, okay, yes, I made a mistake, let's move forward. And to me, that's a lot of leadership. That's a courageous leader.
She's, a woman of integrity. She stands for principle. A whole lot of things she stands for. She wants to see things go on for us, for the betterment of this nation.
I, for one, believe that she's capable and she's able to meet up with the task.
Mrs. Sirleaf is someone who, and I will admit here that I didn't vote for her, but looking back now, I'm sorry I didn't vote for her. I can see what she's going to give this country. She's a planner. Whatever she's planning is something that we will see 2-3 years down the road.
Women are taking control of their lives. Women are showing that they have the strength, they have the organization, the ability to organize, and they have the ability to lead.
I think it's a privilege. It's a privilege that we first have the first African female president. And to work with her is even more so. It's a blessing to all of us, to the continent, I may say, because now what it does, it shows that women have come into their full bloom. And for me, it's an opportunity that we work with Madam Johnson-Sirleaf to make the world know that if you give it to women, it gets done, and it gets done to the highest degree of perfection that you can find. And I feel very privileged to be a part of this first government. I call it the first government of Liberia.
I think sometimes we as Africans are too hard on it because there's been a lot of progress in many of our countries. Progress in terms of the management of our resources, progress in terms of opening the political space, but we still have to do more. I think first of all we need to own our own processes. We need to take charge of our own destiny. We need to make sure we use our resources to support the goals that are determined by ourselves and not either dictated or influenced by others. And then we need to build those leadership throughout the society, not just at the presidential level, but a leadership throughout that can influence the consensus, and a leadership that can motivate and inspire others to see the vision and to see the agenda that it accepts, and to all work toward collectively contributing whatever they can from their vantage point toward the achievement of clearly defined goals.
The vision is that she wants to make sure that these people, the young people, are engaged in a positive way, that they are provided the necessary skills, the training and opportunities that they can eventually contribute to this country. Because according to her, the future of this country is theirs, and they should take ownership. We have to improve their self-esteem. We have to get them in a place where they feel that they are important, that they are people. Forget the experience of the war. To a large extent, some of them were dragged into it. Now, how do you get them out of there? We have to work with the minds, see how we can improve their thinking, and see how they can really do a reflection and see where they need to go.
Are you ready? Yes, we are ready. Bounce it.
Transparency is very important to her, and accountability. And so we feel that this should influence the young people, you know, and if they would look at her and her achievements. I mean, she did not come from wealthy background, you know, decent family, and were able to grow consistently through hard work.
I admire how she stands up for issues and how she expresses the things that she wants without fear, and the courage that she has to just do things that normal lay people would think is not doable at all.
This is an African society. And when I say African, you know what I mean? The man is central. She has to bend over backwards. She has to build alliances, form friendships, and be open to discussions, because her agenda is for the common good. That's her agenda. Her objective is laying down that framework that will make sure Liberia doesn't experience what we've experienced, I like to say, the last 25 years or more. And the ordinary man on the street has expectations that will work to improve their lives. We'll work to make sure we don't fight war no more. We'll work to make sure that all of us, irrespective of the various tribes we come from, we are treated equally. Irrespective of our economic standing, our gender, whatsoever, we will be treated equally. This is what they expect from us.
We hope that we can be a part of those countries whose performance can be exemplary, to ensure that we give equal opportunity and equity to all, to ensure our people can prosper, can be empowered to be able to exercise choice in both economic, political, and social life, that will respect the basic freedoms and rights of people, and that they feel that they enjoy those, and basically that they can have a stake in the future, and they can claim what they want to be and be a part of the decision making that enables them to achieve their potential.
Her trips abroad have really been very important to bring back as the nation, the reputation as a nation, to, you know, respectable leadership. She's brought a lot of goodwill back to the country.
We are the beneficiaries of the respect and goodwill she has internationally, the clout, her experience, her education, her managerial skills. We are clearly the beneficiaries. That Liberia is for Liberians first. I mean, we can share, but we need to benefit from what we have.
I believe what she's done as becoming the first female president in Africa and in Liberia is beginning to challenge other young ladies. And my challenge to them is, yes, you can do it. If Mrs. Sirleaf can do it, you can do it. And I think many of your young women who are watching this program might be president of their countries, where they find themselves. So I challenge you to take out the mantle and go for it.
Set your goals, determine what you want to be, assess your potential, and then go after it with everything you've got, you know. Give it your time, your skills, your knowledge, and be prepared to accept disappointments. There will be some failures on the long road to success. Be prepared to pick up and start again, you know, and to persist and to persevere in what you want to be. And I think if one adopts those practices, generally you do succeed if you stay with what you want to be and stay focused on your goal.
Ellen's commitment to her people humbles me. Let it never be said A woman cannot lead a nation. A nation is a family. And in every family, wisdom and perseverance lead the way. The pride of Liberia. Unsung Heroines salutes you, President Johnson-Sirleaf. I am Angelique Kidjo. Join me again for another episode of Unsung Heroines. Until then, never give up the fight. Stand up for your right.